Hello, my name is Hajime Sugiyama from Mitsubishi Electric, and I'm an industrial IoT evangelist. Today, I would like to talk about 5G in manufacturing. You hear a lot about 5G in the news today, and maybe you've already bought your first 5G smartphone. What is 5G? I think you've already heard about the characteristics. Wide broadband, meaning it's a high-speed, high broadband network. Low latency, which means the delay is very, very slow. And massive machine data transfer, which means you can collect many, many devices to the same network right now. A lot of people see the endless possibilities with 5G and want to apply it to the factory floor. So, should we expect to see a fully 5G operated factory to run in 2021? Maybe not. And I'm going to explain the hurdles we have for implementing 5G in a factory right now. Here is a factory manager's wish list. A factory manager is having many, many wishes because he has many, many problems in everyday life. Let's go through them. OE over 90%. Of course, you want to have an efficient factory, zero defects, maintenance free, full robotics so you don't have employees complaining to you, and wireless self-configuring factory. These are the two wishes that they say that maybe 5G can solve, because with wireless, with 5G, you can solve, you have to throw away all your wires, and with a self-configuring factory, with 5G, you can collect all your machinery, all your AGVs to the cloud, and it will solve, the cloud will solve and predict everything you need to do in a factory. So a lot of factory managers are looking to 5G as to solving his long-time wish list. Actually, wireless has been around more than 10 years in the factory, and it's not new. We've had 4G, 3G, 2G. We've had Bluetooth. Some people are, I'm sure, are connecting their PLCs Bluetooth to their PC. And also there's actually industry-specified networks like wireless HART right now. It's not new. But going back to reality, how much is wireless used in today's factory? It's actually less than 2%. And there's a reason to this. It's because there's still hurdles in using this wireless technology in the factory. The first thing is standardization. Right now, you're finally able to see 5G smartphones in the market, and that's because the working groups have created a common specification for everybody to follow. But if you look at the industrial side of 5G, and we are also involved in working in the working groups, they're still discussing it. And the next version, release 17, which is planned to put the industrial needs into the specification, is planned for 2021 June. That means even if you wanted a factory compliant 5G network, it's still too early. So let's say June 2021, they finish the specification, but then the component suppliers will start developing based on that technology and standard right now. So you're going to have to wait another 1 or 2 years for commercial availability. So the wait's going to be a little longer. Also, there's issues about security and there's issues about safety right now. For a smartphone, it's okay if your network is cut off and you can't connect. But imagine if that happens in a factory. You have machines and robots working together with people. And you can't risk the safety of your people due to a communication miss right now. So that's why I'm sure there's going to be a lot of testing for safety using wireless networks before we full-blown use it in a factory. It's the same with cybersecurity. Because everything's becoming wireless, then you should imagine, the ability to hack into a network becomes easier. It's not actually that way because 5G has a lot of neat functions that make it more secure and make it more safe compared to conventional networks. But as you know, everybody's going to make sure that they're 100% sure that nothing will happen to their employees. The final hurdle, and this might be interesting to some of you, is politics right now. I think you've heard in the news a lot of discussion about 5G technology being used to steal information from other countries. This might be the case, and some countries might, create backdoors in order to steal secure information from other countries to strengthen their economies. What will happen is maybe some countries will restrict the usage of certain countries' technologies. They will say, for instance, in Japan, for 5G technology, you can only use 5G chips that have been developed by Japanese manufacturers. So this will kind of slow the standardization and common use of technology in the 5G market. And I think it's going to impact the spread of 5G in a factory. There is one thing I want to clear out that some people misunderstand about 5G. Of course, 5G is a fast network. It's wide broadband, delay slow, low latency, and it connects to multiple amount of devices, more than 10 times compared to 4G. But it's not unlimited. There is still a limitation of the total network bandwidth you can use. Meaning, if you're communicating a lot of data, you can't connect a lot of devices at the same time. And maybe the latency level will get faster. You will see some delays right now. So it's always a trade-off. You can't get 3 at the same time. That's why, for instance, for motors working in a factory, they're running at a high speed, so they need fast communication right now. But you cannot connect all these 3,000 motors working in a factory at one time right now. You need a separate network. That's why I think at the end, the factory will still be a combination. You will use these kind of fast-moving things via physical wire, or maybe machine to machine. You can use the 5G technology right now. So you can't have it all, and 5G is not invincible. It has limitations. Of course, there are things that can solve these kind of limitations. One worry you might have is because you're using public 5G in your factory, if a student or a young guy comes with a big computer that uses a lot of image for his games, maybe that will suck the bandwidth out of the network and your AGVs will not be able to communicate or work slower. That's a worry you might have. But a lot of countries are implementing what you call this local 5G concept, which is a private 5G network right now. So meaning they will license out licenses saying you can make your own private 5G network with a station and network inside your factory that only you can control and only you have access to. So by doing that, you won't have the problem with the university student playing big games with enormous data affecting your network right now. That'll solve that problem as well. But of course, that network will only work privately. So in order to talk to your other factories throughout the world, you would use a public 5G. So it's going to be a mix with local 5G and public 5G, and we call that hybrid 5G. One other benefit of local 5G is because if you're only connected to the devices you want to, you have a more secure network right now. So you don't have to worry about hackers less. One thing, always a reminder, is 5G is not free. Of course, you will have to pay for the data that you're using. Every data you send, you will need. Otherwise, you will need equipment. You will need 5G correspondent mobile phones, tablets, AGVs, PLCs, and that's going to cost you some money. Okay, let's say you make your own 5G station, you make your own 5G communication structure, so you don't have to pay all this massive data charges that you're using, but you're going to need engineering to construct your own network, meaning the software, meaning the routers, meaning the wiring between the routers and the station. All of this is going to cost you money, and you're going to maybe probably have to hire some engineers who have this knowledge of wireless technology, because I don't think you have that kind of engineers in your factory right now. And don't forget about maintenance costs, because every time you add a new device to your network, you're going to have to do some extra engineering as well. It's 5G, so actually the story started from 1G, and every 10 years the technology evolves. So we've had 1G, 2G, 3G, which is now starting to be discontinued. Your phones are 4G right now, and then we're talking about 5G. What you shouldn't forget is there's going to be 6G. Japan was a little late in the 5G technology, so there's now a lot of discussion saying we want to be the leader in 6G, so let's start working it right now. And there's going to be 7G in 2040, and probably 8G in 2050 right now, so it's a never-ending story. And you should understand that it's probably going to be a mix in your factory where you have 3G devices, 4G, 5G, 6 devices, and you're never going to have only one generation network right now. I want to change the topic on an interesting application that I love in everyday life, which is a robot vacuum cleaner. It's beautiful, isn't it? You know, you touch a button, it thinks by itself how to clean the room, and it cleans the room and comes back right now. Does this vacuum cleaner use wireless technology? Actually, it doesn't. There's an infrared sensor that's looking around, and right now, based on that, it's talking with the AI that is and the computer that is on the vacuum cleaner, and it commands the right combination and right path to go, and the most efficient way to do it right now. So there's no wireless technology used in this. Isn't it amazing? But this is the technology of today, so you don't need 5G actually to run this vacuum cleaner. It's been doing it for more than 10 years right now, and this is what is important. Wireless is not the only way to do it. If you have AI that works on an edge computing device like this, and smart components, you can do a lot of things. Look at this interesting application. It's the factory of the future, your wish list that we talked about. So you see robots moving on AGVs around the factory. So there's no conveyor belts, there's no wiring between the machines. And I'll take the new product you're going to manufacture and place it in the machine, and then start assembling the product right now. Using vision technology, talking to each other, so it's what we call a lean and flexible, self-disciplined, self-decision-making factory. We actually can do this with a digital twin, and you see a model of this factory where it's doing the simulations, it has the maintenance information, it has the order information right now. So it's beautiful. In the future, I'm sure we're going to see these factories in real life. What's interesting to know that this demonstration booth was created by Mitsubishi Electric in 2017. That's actually 3 years ago. There was no 5G existing in this. We actually made this technology possible by conventional technology, which is AI and edge. We put AI in the robots, and we made smart machines in order to run it. So you don't have to necessarily use 5G to achieve your dreams. A lot of people say, no, I have to invest in 5G. I have to have 5G in the factory. But we're in a manufacturing world, and what you have to remember is 5G is never your goal. The bottom line, the most important thing is the bottom line, which is return on investment and making profit right now. If it takes a lot of money to install 5G and you're not getting the benefit, there's no reason to do it. You shouldn't. Because, as I said, at the end, you have to make money. Next, I would like to go through some 5G use cases in the factory. The first is real-time monitoring. There are a lot of places in the factory where you can't see by the human eye. For instance, inside of the machine, because there are sparks that come out when you do the processing, or you have to put coolant while you're processing the part, you can't see what's going inside. But in order to find out if you have a defect or not, you want to see inside, you need to see inside the machine. And so, as a compromise, you said, okay, let's add a camera. But the problem with the camera is sometimes it's not easy to put a camera inside of a machine, because then you have to think about the wiring necessary of it. So that's why I think it's very cool if you have a wireless camera and you can put it inside the machine. Then you can immediately see what's going on without damaging your eyes doing it. The problem with wireless technology right now is because 4G and 3G are too slow, you can't see precisely what's going on in real time right now. And this has always been an issue right now. But I think 5G technology will solve this. Because of the clear imagery you see with 5G and the real-time, low latency, you will immediately see what's going on without even having to look into the machine right now. And I think there will be a lot of usage of this inside the factory, this kind of real-time monitoring applications. The second one is AR, VR, MR assembly, using virtual technology to help you, especially for wiring. A lot of people, when they do wiring for control panels, it's a mess, you know. You have this manual, and you're looking at the manual, you say, okay, I have to wire this wire A to this terminal block B right now, and you go step by step. I think AR and VR glasses will help you a lot doing this. If you could put the instructions, okay, this is where you should put that cable, it's automatic, so you don't have to go to a manual every time you're looking at it, and you save a lot of time. Also, it reduces the numbers of mistakes you make because it shows you precisely where to put it on the screen that you have right in front of you. The issue we have with AR VR today, if you want to display clean imagery, wireless is too slow, so you need to have a kind of wire connected to your AR or VR glasses. That's not good enough right now because it's dangerous, and safety is very important in a factory, and you might trip over it while doing this. That's why I think in the future 5G will be beneficial because you will get away with the wires. It will be a safe application. One more we will see more is remote maintenance, field support in remote locations. Say you have a factory in India or Czech and a machine goes down, but the staff, they are brand new, so they don't know how to fix it. In the past, you would get on a plane and go and solve the problem because there was no way to communicate the problem and find out what was wrong. I think technology is getting better, so they will use cameras. Also, you have the production data in the factory in Czech, then you transfer it and kind of do some guessing of it. But still, it's not good enough. As I said, manufacturing is a very precise art, you know. The wiring and also the state of the machine. You have to see the data in order to do problem solving to a good expert extent right now. And that's why I see that 5G technology will be very, very beneficial, because you can have your Czech worker have the camera, show it to the machine, and you can see the real image in high quality right in front of you, even if you're in Japan. And you can probably solve problems that you weren't able to solve in the past, and you'd have to get on a plane. It will save a lot of moving time for you. Also, if you think about remote service trips, when you have your engineering staff or service staff go over to fix a machine, if they have a problem that they can't solve, they will call the contact center for help. But the same thing happens, you know. The data you can transfer, or the image you can transfer to the contact center might be not precise enough. But with the new 5G technology, then they will get a clear image of what's going wrong, and you can give clear orders how to fix it. There are a lot of how-to videos that are being made, so rather than having a large manual and bring it around to you wherever you go, it makes more sense to have just one tablet and download the information you need when you need it. 5G will help this, because in the past, if you wanted to download that information of a manual you didn't have, or a how-to video that you didn't have, it would take 1 hour. With 5G technology, you can reduce it to 2 minutes. We see 5G technology coming, but still, as I said, it's going to take time for 5G compliant products to come out. You have the mobile devices with 5G, you have the AR, VR devices, but right now, a lot of carrier companies are still putting in the antennas to transmit these 5G waves right now. So if you're in a local or rural area, it's going to take you some more time to go there, to have the 5G, access to the 5G technology. Routers and switches still need time to come. And as for robots, PLCs, there's still quite a while. You can buy them in a market and use in your factory plant. So I think 5G technology will come in steps. Right now, as I said, imagery with 5G, you can do right away with the cameras and the tablets right now. So use it for AR, VR, remote maintenance. The next step will be using the 5G technology for AGVs, for instance, to coordinate where they are within the factory, say go there or go here or stop, and coordinate it with the machines. After that technology is established, you'll see, I think, more wireless control where you're not wiring manually with physical wire the machines together, you're communicating in the cloud, and then you'll get to your smart factory. I will talk about this later, but I would love to see drones in the factory, and I think 5G will be the technology innovator to use these drones in the factory. I'm going to show you a sample neat application that we're working with. Right now, you see a human being working with two robots in an assembly application. The interesting thing is, if the human puts his hand, if the worker puts his hand, the robots will immediately stop. This is because we have two sensors and cameras on top monitoring the movement, and if he sees a man put his arm in, he will order the robot to stop. The more interesting thing about this application is it has the capability to actually avoid and go around, as you see. This is very important because the worst thing in manufacturing is to have your whole entire production line stop. By doing this, even if there is a human interfering, it will still continue to run and your production line will keep running. The issue with this is you only can do it in a set place right now. So over here is your cell, but if you move, this human goes to another place and does the same movement, you have to use different cameras in order to monitor his movement. And this is where 5G and I think drones will be extremely useful. In this application, you have an AGV, you have a robot, and you have a drone. We have been replacing technology with humans in the factory for the past 50 years, I say. First, you replace the human arm with a robot. Now, you're replacing the human feet with an AGV. The next step, I think, is replacing the human eye with a drone. You see in this application, so he will go over to pick up this part. The drone with the human eye will see the part and say, you should pick up this way, and it will communicate to the cloud through 5G and tell the 3D model and simulation you should pick up this way. It will transmit that order back to the robot and he will pick it up. Then he will move over to the conveyor belt. He will do the same thing. Look at the conveyor belt, make a model, and say, place the part over here. And go back and set. In the past, you would need different cameras over here, over here, over here, over here. And you would need to wire things. With 5G technology, it's wireless. So you only need one camera with the drone. And you can communicate everything with the cloud right now. So you don't need to have a computer over here with that knowledge. The cloud will help you. Isn't this cool? I think this is the future of manufacturing. 5G technology, it will take time to come to the market, but we have to be ready for it. As Mitsubishi Electric, we're working on a lot of new technologies, like feasibility testing for 5G surveillance cameras. We're working on antenna technology with multi-beam multiplexing 5G technology, and also in the factory, where we're going to do hybrid 5G joint testing in eFactory in cooperation with NEC to make in reality what we talked about, hybrid 5G, with the private local 5G networks and the public 5G networks. So just to summarize, it's going to take some time for 5G to come to the factory, but you should get ready for it. And I think there's a lot of technology you can do today, like the imagery applications where you're using tablets and cameras. There's a lot of dream. I think 5G is a so game changer when you look at the drones and technology. But it's going to take some time, but at least I think you should start getting ready for it because the capabilities are endless. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Thank you very much. Bye.